Hello and welcome to the Justice League, the Snyder Cut Spoilercast review from GigaBoots. The sort of podcast you record this late in the game because you need something to record on a Thursday. And let me introduce my co-host before the rest of this. We've got Bob
Mustache
from GigaBoots. We've got Dr. Aggro.
It's the same, but different. But still the same.
And Chris Wolfhard.
Justice is gray.
Unfortunately, we didn't watch that edition. How desaturated was it for you, Chris?
Pretty desaturated.
I sit here and I talk to Bob and I'm like, it's really unfortunate that I can't make my film black and white without coming off as pretentious, because I think there's a certain artistry to making your film black and white. It's like you're just going to release the Snyder Cut later of whatever you're making, make it black and white too. The fact these are two different editions, because we started watching the normal Snyder Cut, and I was just confused. I was like, aren't you supposed to be black and white? What the hell's going on? Apparently. No, Justice is Gray is the black and white version. I really came into this prepared.
They're all 4x3, though. That's very important to Zack Snyder's vision.
Well, of course that's important. That's why this podcast is 4x3.
You should have hooked up. Oh no, it was a 4K Blu-ray, right? So you couldn't use the PS3 on the Trinitron.
Oh shit. Oh no. Bob, does that thing come with the Blu-ray?
It does have the regular Blu-ray.
Ooh.
Oh, I think it's time for a second viewing.
Maybe.
I don't have time left in my life for a second viewing of the Snyder Cut.
That's true. You hit the halfway point between then and your grave in the middle of the viewing. A nice, clean, lean 4-hour movie.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the longest movies ever made.
I got to tell you, I hit the start button in the middle of this movie, what I thought was the middle of this movie. I'm like, 2 hours? No, this can't be right. I'm seeing a lot of shit I didn't see when I saw the theatrical cut. I know this is longer than 2... Oh my God, it's Titanic on HD Blu-ray. Oh fuck, there's another disc of movie. What year is it?
Yeah, when I first got it, I was astonished it was a 4-hour movie, then impressed they got it on a single Blu-ray, and then I opened the case and was confused.
Yeah, because it has 2 4K Blu-ray discs. It's really an impressive film that warrants that sort of treatment. You think they would have been able to save bitrate by it being 4x3, but apparently not, no.
Not enough.
You know, listener, you need to understand. Aggro was going out of town, so there was a podcast we needed to come up with to record between me, Bob, and Chris. And I said to myself, Bob, do you have any ideas? And Bob's like, I'm buying Justice League, the Snyder Cut for $7 on this Black Friday sale.
Like, he literally looked around the room and went, we've got that.
That could be a podcast.
Then Amazon screwed us by shipping it in one day.
I know. If
like,
they had taken longer, we could have been like, oh, that's not going to work. I guess we'll just take the day off after big thing's done. But yeah, we're here to talk about this movie. Everyone here had seen the original cut, right?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
I've never seen the original Justice. I make it a habit not to watch Joss Whedon projects.
Okay. As somebody who watched both versions, I can say, without even, like, I didn't even recall that was made by Joss Whedon, but yes, that was the drama that they switched over the director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a less dumb version of that. Like, it feels like a number of scenes that were just kind of too convenient or too abrupt or didn't have any gaps filled in just happen nonstop to make this feel like a normal movie where it just flows from one thing to the next, but relentlessly for 4 hours.
It is a much less dumb film, and the worse for it.
I don't know. I think this movie is 1, plenty dumb, and 2, I'm sorry, you will never get me to say that this movie is worse than the thing where fucking the Flash falls into Wonder Woman's tits.
Did that happen?
I don't remember.
Yes, it did. Everybody in the entire world made fun of it. Because it's like, he did this in the Avengers too. Can he not fucking stop?
Oh, yeah. Look, if you expect me to remember every scene that happened in the original cut of the Justice League, which was by no means a brief film, this long after the fact, you're just barking up the wrong tree, because man, that movie is a mess. And it's so weirdly different from this near the end, especially where you get you need to evacuate the city.
Yeah, a lot of things are really different.
Like, yeah, absolutely. I'm reading the plot synopsis to get myself back into the past mentally of like, how was that original version? Let me just read the ending plot synopsis. And then his dad teams up with him. Wait a minute, what? What do you mean that's the ending? That guy got eviscerated halfway through the film in this version.
I think the biggest difference I remember most, apart from, all the extra shit that's in this one, is I think like the town that Steppenwolf takes over is like in the original cut. Mm-hmm. There's like people in it and they keep cutting back to it and it's like a thing.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, Superman and Flash, you're going to help evacuate the city.
Yeah, I think it's not even as fully populated city. It's like just one family that's living in this nuclear fallout area.
It's Florida.
Basically.
Yeah, basically. I feel like, well, firstly, I find everything about the promotional material for this, the behind the scenes, everything else, absolutely hilarious. Once it's like, no, apparently Zack Snyder used bots to demand that.
No, it's even funnier than that. WB was so mad at this that they had a hit piece made, because if you actually read the data, it's like normal things have 5% bots. This had 9. So so it was nothing even close to a smoking gun. It was just like, we're mad we had to make this, and we want to make Zack Snyder look bad.
I would imagine that there's a lot of ego in a company that had to let him finish the movie the way he envisioned. The countless lines of like, there's a cut of this film, that's the good cut, that lives in my house, and it's 4:3 and it's black and white and it's the most beautiful thing humanity has ever seen.
Yeah, Zack Snyder is convinced that his ass has made an Alex Ross painting come to life.
Yes.
And he really needs to let that fucking delusion go.
I mean, this movie convinced me that Zack Snyder is who they need to get to make the God of War movie.
100%.
Yeah, that seems about right.
The fucking Marvel fans are constantly jerking off about the idea of superheroes are modern mythology. They should be respected as important literary archetypes and concepts.
Those two ideas are not synonymous. They don't go together at all. Yes, superheroes are modern mythology. They're fucking weird as shit.
The where I'm going is that Zack Snyder commits to that idea.
Yep.
Like, this movie opens like with the fucking Amazons fighting Steppenwolf. They're all on horses. They're shooting him with arrows and getting him with chains, and he's fucking murdering them in huge droves. I'm like, yeah, this feels like Sauron killing people in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fleshed outness of the battles with the Amazon and the battles in the past against Darkseid.
Yeah, that was honestly the best thing added, of like Ares and Zeus and just owning Darkseid.
Except there's like the world's most unimaginative and useless Green Lantern also in that fight.
Yes.
I mean, that's all of them. That's every Green Lantern aggro, except Hal Jordan, Kyle, I forget his last name, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner. Except for the 4 human ones, every other Green Lantern in history is useless.
Mm-hmm.
I like that moment that Darkseid's just like, ooh, fancy Green Lantern ring. Oh, I flew away. Shit.
Like, they just held in that moment. I'm like, do it. Oh, fuck.
But yeah, it was great seeing exactly Green Lantern owned completely. In the acknowledgement of Green Lantern's existence are a problem, and how absolutely he was not. And it's like, of course Zeus is better than Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's really interesting how it builds out the lore, and it's like, yeah, all these things coexist, of course. And then it's like, and then the Martian Manhunter impersonates people's mothers to have a conversation. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is that about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, man, how many endings this movie has after it has to show the original one and then that original follow-up sequence? Because I'm pretty sure even that is in the original. We go to the farm and he bought the bank, and we go to all these other things, right? The closure round.
Like, this movie honestly made me love Zack Snyder. He's such a hack.
Okay.
Where it's like, America has lost faith in Superman. Cut to the farm being foreclosed on like they're related. Like the family farm is being foreclosed on because people don't trust Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love the end where fucking Batfleck, Bruce Wayne is like, I decided I should help Superman's family not be homeless.
This seems like a good plan.
I think the weirdest part to me of this whole movie,
Mm-hmm.
this is the first Zack Snyder superhero movie where it feels like a movie. Like,
Yeah.
Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are just these bizarre pile of events that don't flow together well, and the action is nonsensical. Like, you watch Man of Steel, that has like the worst action in any superhero movie maybe ever.
Yeah, I actually
rough.
haven't seen Man of Steel. Well, let's get a roll call. Who's seen Man of Steel? You, Agra?
Yeah, way back in the day.
Okay. Chris?
I have never seen the entire thing. I saw like half of it.
Okay.
Do those have director's cuts? What if all of it was just that they needed these director's cuts?
Well, I was going to say, he did Watchmen. Watchmen
I forgot
Watchmen
about
feels
Watchmen.
like a film at all.
I forgot he did Watchmen.
Yeah. No, that's understandable because
guess-
DC Zack Snyder has a different arcane energy than 300 and Watchmen.
Right, I was going to say
Snyder.
Zack. I forgot
Yeah.
300, but also based on a comic. I was like, yeah, it's just a weird thing he did.
Dude loves buff guys. I don't know.
300 even adds stuff to make it more of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Like the whole
yes.
subplot with the queen killing the traitor is not in the comic at all.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And then even Sucker Punch is a movie, sort of. That's the least movie like one of his I've seen. Where mostly it's just like, here's a cutscene from Final Fantasy 13. Isn't that cool? I'm like, I guess.
Yes, it is cool. Thank you, the goddess. But yeah, I don't know. There's like, this is definitely a film that almost like, okay, so imagine, and this is hard, if this film was an hour long, it would feel so incredibly well constructed. Just chop an hour of it out, right?
Oh, okay.
Right?
So 3 hours long, not an hour long.
No. Chop an hour of this movie.
Okay.
And that's all you're thinking about.
Oh.
Just think about that. And it feels like, wow, that movie took its time setting up characters, followed through like locations, motives, everything else, and it flowed way better than any Zack Snyder film. What I'm trying to say is I would really appreciate if one day I got the 2-hour movie that is constructed like this from Zack Snyder instead of, no, the only way I could do that is if it's 4 hours long.
They gave him a blank check and he's like, I'm going to have as many giant god battles as I'm allowed to have.
It's really good because, he spent all the time. He's like, I got the real cut on mine. And like, and look at these tapes. They have the real cut. And it's like, yeah, in order to make the Zack Snyder's cut, it cost us another $70 million. I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds like you didn't have this then.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't. That was never real.
Yeah, of course not.
Like an asshole.
Like watching what is in this and not in the originals. Like, obviously you made another whole movie.
Right. He's seemingly, you know what? Maybe I'll take him at his word. He's not bitter at all that this isn't canon.
I mean, you could like chop out the entire fucking weird framing device of Batman in the future. The dreams. I guess they're him having premonitions.
I think the original version had more of that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Probably, but
It has the
shouldn't
scene
be
with
any
the
of it.
van in the Middle East with the guns and the descending insect people, right? Or is that also in
the
Batman v
parademons.
Superman? I can't remember. I think that was in the original cut of the Justice League.
It's not the same, but there's a similar
No,
one.
it's a
where
completely different one.
where he sees little cuts of it. Like, I think they cut it up way more, and he like sees the Flash trying to reach out and tell him something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not in this version, I don't think.
No, it's not at all. They cut a lot of that premonition shit,
Mm-hmm.
which, broadly, you could observe that and just be like, man, that's I appreciate you cutting a lot of that because that was kind of didn't go anywhere.
Like there's a lot of stuff they restructured and they put in, like all the cyborg stuff they added was great. It was great that we got to have that.
Yeah.
But at a certain level of mass, I'm like, can we get like the premiere TV miniseries instead? Can I get like a couple more hours of this and then cut it in 3 chunks?
And see, that's the funny thing. while watching that specific part of the film, all I could think about is if you were trying to tell this story, it would be a miniseries. But we don't have the B plot they would attach to the miniseries to pad it out to make it a full season. And I was thinking about how weird it was that it was like, we don't get movies that tell stories like that slowly and ploddingly nowadays because we just turn them into miniseries with other, like, we need the B team and the B plot. Mm-hmm. The thing literally no human on earth cares about.
At a certain point in this movie, you really start to feel like, yeah, no, he didn't have anyone to tell him no at all. He had a blank fucking check.
Oh, 100%.
To make this film.
Yeah, I think the cyborg stuff is great. I'm glad that's there. He was such a non-character in the original cut.
Yeah, it was kind of infuriating.
Yeah, it was just like, we've got Cyborg, finally. He looks horrible and basically isn't a character.
And this cut also makes The Flash remarkably less cringe.
I don't know, that hot dog thing was still pretty cringe.
Dude, you have no idea.
You're right, I did not see the full Joss Whedon version. I'm sure he must be less cringe than that. But by the way, a shout out to Ray Fisher, who was like, yeah, I wasn't in the original version that much because Joss Whedon's a racist.
What?
Yeah, that was a big part of like the Snyder Cut build up as Ray Fisher being like, yeah, that thing was a disaster, and I really felt like I was being racially discriminated against because of my race by leadership in Joss Whedon.
Okay, I don't know the name of the actor. I assume this is Cyborg's actor?
Yes, Ray Fisher is Cyborg.
Shit.
Wow.
I would not have guessed that.
God damn.
Yeah, that's good lord.
I mean, I look at a lot of Joss Whedon's work and I'm just like, I mean, he made a Fox TV show like in the 90s. Of course, it's whiter than snow.
I think that insane article that came out earlier this year, I forget, where Joss Whedon is like, I'm an insane predator. You should let me back in for admitting that. And everybody went, no, Joss Whedon, I'm sorry. I think one of the things in that was him literally calling Ray Fisher uppity.
That's a word choice.
Man. I wish one thing that had improved a lot over the original version is the soundtrack. Because they have the same drum line for countless songs in this, and you hear the same drum line like 11 times throughout the film.
Like every time Wonder Woman drops on screen, like, oh, fuck, music. Yeah, let's do it.
It's like, oh, shit, yeah, that's her theme, thank you. And it just happens 4 times in the film. No, it's really something. And compared to how this improved in other ways, I wish the music had also gotten a little bit of an upgrade so I didn't have to hear that same drum line so many times. Because you need to have a really unique sound to your drum beat to make it the thing. Mm-hmm. You know, like the Dark Knight Rises. The hee-hee-haw-haw thing sound it makes as he climbs up out of the hole. And all the times they pull in that theme. Iconic sound. Sounds interesting. This sounds like the drum line in several different Marvel superhero or like big AAA action movie from nowadays congealed one drum line and then he went, make it sound edgier. Like it sounds so bad. And it's like when I came out of the theater, my main 2 thoughts the first time we watched this, which I think we actually watched it on home release. I don't think we went I can't remember. Batman v Superman really pissed me off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That movie's a fucking war crime.
It really genuinely is. It was so good watching Aggro tweet about watching it in a theater and being as upset as I was. That thing is truly awful. But my 2 main thoughts coming out of the Justice League was, well, that was better than Batman v Superman. And man, that drum line sure came up a lot in this film. So knowing that they didn't change that at all.
See, that was part of the original vision. I'm sorry, Dad.
That's the original vision. You can't change that. You can change a lot of things like facial hair, but you can't change the original vision.
I'm so conflicted about this movie's fucking length. Because, like I was saying about like the cyborg stuff and all the really indulgent extra ending vignettes and shit. Each one of those is really cool. Like Deathstroke meeting Lex Luthor on the yacht. Like that's a cool scene. But I'm here to tell you when they opened on the shot of the yacht, I literally Crow T Robot screamed and.
No, that does go on.
It has like 5 or 6 rounds of ending moment Honestly, in the grand scheme of that movie, that tease where Lex Luthor's on the boat and, Deathstroke's there, it feels like it lands a little bit less hard when you get the future visions.
Yeah, like that just feels weird. Like you didn't need it at all next to those insane things.
It's like, are we gonna do Flashpoint or not? Let me know.
The funny thing is, what was it? They got the Superman actor back to play Superman again.
Yes.
Did they even announce the project around that?
Well, he's in Black Adam.
Okay.
Yeah, and they said they were talking about just doing Man of Steel 2.
Weird. I mean,
so it's like we're doing Flashpoint to reboot something, even though most of the projects associated with that rebooting is gone already, and now we're continuing the Henry Cavill Superman.
I mean, is it going to be a direct? I mean, because they did super promise, like, yeah, Henry Cavill's going to be Superman again, but not like we did it before when everyone hated it.
It's good. I guess it's going to be a reboot, but so I guess it. But them continuing to say it's Man of Steel 2 is bizarre.
I mean, personally, I think what's really bizarre is just like, you look at Ben Affleck being Batman, and you think about the fact they haven't made a Batman movie outside of The Batman in 10 years. Like a Batman film. That is a really weird gap. I think that's longer than the Nolan trilogy to the prior movie Batman gap. So I think if they did a Superman film, that would be pretty cool. Because as it turns out, I would like DC to turn out movies that are both A, focused on a singular character, and B, focused on a singular character I give a shit about. And that would be great.
I'd be really happy to see Battison playing off Cavill Superman. I think that'd be good.
Robert Pattinson. Holy shit, could you imagine? One of them is just a horrible dictator, as these movies have decided, and the other one's just cringe.
The way they phrased it is they're like rebooting it, and it's going to be more like what they should have been, and Superman should have acted like Superman.
Yeah.
That's been the most frustrating part of Zack Snyder stuff. It just ruined Superman for, it feels like, forever.
The small moments in this where Superman acts like Superman, Cavill is great. I love him owning the shit out of Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Where Steppenwolf is about to kill Cyborg, and then Superman's just there, and it's him, and does nothing.
Yeah, he rolls up like he's like everybody else is the character from these movies, and in that scene, he rolls up like he's just been reincarnated from the animated series. Sup? Did you not watch that? I'm gonna punch you real hard now.
And like over and over again. Yeah, no, that was excellent. That was one of my favorite parts of the ending. It's just like, and then Superman shows up and folds him like he's a shirt.
Yeah. It's really funny, the two parts of Aquaman and Wonder Woman like doing assists, and I'm like, that's so adorable. They have to pretend that you matter. Which, by the way, nothing is funnier than the entire surrounding scene of Batman shooting parademons. Like, yeah, you're really contributing, mate.
No, it's cool. He was keeping the parademons from shooting the Flash. Oh man. Yeah, I agree though. It's okay. We're gonna have to walk a very delicate line here. Very intricate, very narrow. The idea of Superman and the way he acts in Batman v Superman is kind of neat. I don't need a universe focused around that idea of Superman. Because some of the imagery and other stuff they do in Batman v Superman for like, do you get it? Do you get it?
Yes, there's a lot of that.
I actually, to some extent, kind of enjoy that in its it's very counter to what they normally handled Superman with in popular media. But in the comics, I said popular media. Anyway. But I don't need that to be the DCEU's You know, the DC cinematic universe. I don't need that to be their fucking Superman that they have to hang everything off of. It sucks.
And that's what they even imply with those future visions we see. Like the dreams are all about that too. It's like
that's okay. That's not fucking canon.
I know.
And like DC and Warner Brothers, they keep coming out with statements that are like, we're not really sure how to make Superman connect with modern audiences. I'm like, yes, no giant corporation is ever going to make the correct Superman movie where he finds the CEO of BlackRock and throws him off a bridge.
I mean, I don't think it's hard to make Superman like. Oh God, I was about to say the most caustic thing ever. I guess I fucking have to say it now. Really, you need to just write Superman as Ted Lasso?
You've made me so happy in so few words.
Like, like people love Ted Lasso. You're telling me you can't make a nice guy connect to audiences,
right? It's baffling.
I hope I regain the ability to speak by the end of this podcast. Mike Stickles is like, I fucking hate the Superman. Why is it goddamn Ted Lasso?
They even get the actor.
That would be so good.
See now a year and a half after we record this and it finally goes up, you can just put Ted Lasso on Superman's body and that can be the thumbnail.
Oh. That should be pretty easy to do, especially in 4x3.
And by then we'll have the new Superman design.
I just have Superman be Superman and like don't just bring in Lobo to have us punch face for 2 hours. Like Superman's problem is never that he can't punch a thing hard enough. Please stop trying to write movies about that.
Unfortunately, all Zack Snyder can do is the biggest, hugest thing. Like
face punch.
Yeah. It's got to be the giant threat.
But like for those few moments where he's just kicking the shit out of Steppenwolf, he's here. It's real. And like you look over and Darkseid's in the portal and there's no reason for him to not come through the portal. He's fucking Darkseid. But he's looking at that Superman going,
No, this is giving me a really bad flashback of the end of the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. I'm not going in there.
Oh man, it would have been great if Zack Snyder was just like, this is it, I'm done. So I did come through the portal and they just end it there.
Yeah, that would have been absurd. That would have been absolutely absurd.
You know, something I really enjoyed is all of the big name actors they got for new roles in this version. Like we have Jim Gordon as J.K. Simmons. We have some dude from Aquaman is Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, we have Willem Dafoe as one of the Atlanteans. Yeah. These were all the case in the original movie, just to be clear.
I don't even remember them.
J.K. canonically is Gordon.
But did they have scenes?
I think they each had
movies.
a scene. Okay. Like they had to bring back these actors specifically, and a third one. I can't remember who it was. Lois Lane's actress, I suppose. But they had to bring them back for more scenes.
Okay.
But they were there originally for a scene.
Yeah, it's nice to see them get more time. And it also is really nice to see Cyborg's dad a lot, because I remembered halfway through watching this, oh right, this is the dude from Terminator 2. I don't think I've seen anything since.
Oh my fucking god, I spent the whole movie being like, he seems like someone I've seen in a movie before, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, so that's killing me now that you explain. Yeah, he's a guy from Datadyne.
Yeah, he nails it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, he's a really great actor, as it turns out. What a fucking concept.
Going back to Lobo aggro, see, you can put Lobo in a Superman movie,
I knew we were going
but
back to Lobo.
But it can't be that they're just punching each other. It needs to be that just like Lobo keeps getting drunk and not paying his bar tab, and whenever Superman takes him to jail, he just escapes because he's Lobo. And Superman's like, well, I can't fucking beat his ass across Metropolis. He hasn't really earned that. What do I do?
Yeah, we need a lot more things like that where there's no, like, power won't work. You just need to talk it out, because that's usually way funnier with these characters who can end time.
It's almost like comic writers understand that, which is why one of Superman's biggest antagonists is Mr. Mixlet Spitlick, who is literally an omnipotent being. And the whole thing is Superman has to trick him into saying his name backwards. Like one time he does it by mispronouncing it so many times that he gets annoyed and corrects him.
So which came first, Sat or Q?
I mean...
that by a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like something older than
It does sound like Silver Age, like, comics, and not...
I'm trying to think like that's even funnier because I remember originally the pilot for Star Trek wasn't going to have any of the Q stuff.
Oh, great.
It was just going to be this terrible like, and then we watch them dock the Enterprise, and it's so cool.
And someone who knows what they were doing got involved, and
God knows that probably pissed off the Star Trek guy.
yeah.
So to further illustrate a thing I had sort of said earlier, where I like pretty much everything in this movie,
Okay.
but not as much as this, but I like everything in this movie more than I like this movie.
Okay. Is it because the movie has an almost a demand of you because of its length?
Its length, its indulgence in its length. Sometimes it doubles up on scenes. Sometimes scenes go on twice as long as they need to because nobody's going to tell him no. So he just pulls his dick out on the script.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we get to the, I don't know, 5th, 7th epilogue scene, where we're in the future desert and Flash has that kick-ass helmet that opens up and we cut over to him like, oh, I think that's a Joker. Is that green hair? It's hard to tell with the sun. Oh my God, is that Jared Leto?
Yeah.
But it's just in this scene, the way the way this scene is done, way out here at the ass end of conceivable reality. You've been watching this fucking movie for 13 days. We're on epilogue 8. Who knows where we are in reality? Watching Jared Leto Joker cosplaying Meatloaf with his fucking hair and the gloves and in like a SWAT outfit, like it's that fucking old DC MMO opening cinematic talking about killing Robins. And I'm like, Jared Leto, you were just in the wrong fucking movie. Maybe you could have been a great Joker.
I'm just like, this is a weird thing to have a dream about. So this is canonically a vision. This isn't just Batman having like Batman got a cold and had crazy fucking nightmares because it references the Boy Wonder. And this Batman has not even had a Robin yet.
Yeah, because
I think
Yeah, in Batman
no, they have because
they've got like fucked up Robin costumes.
Oh my God, I forgot they just skipped
They
past.
just imply the
They just
interesting
skip-
parts.
Yeah, because this is old Batman, like after he's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, there was a fan theory before Batman v Superman came out that Jared Leto Joker was going to be Jason Todd. It wasn't going to be like normal Joker.
I remember that.
Huh.
Interesting.
Because people are like, look, he has scars here, and the Robin costume has scars there, and
That's an interesting path they could have taken to make that movie more intriguing. We won't be doing that. Yeah, if anything, the number one thing I dislike about this movie is all of the endings, all of the epilogues. I thought that it would be so much funnier when we got to the future desert.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that sounds hilarious. And then I watch it and I'm like, this is boring. Because it's going to just be a vision, isn't it? It's just going to be another vision. We're going to go back to the past. So it's going to be like, here's a different teaser for what the thing is. Or nothing.
It's so weird to have like a movie with 10 teasers that you know won't ever happen.
Right? At that point, you're just masturbating.
Absolutely.
I feel like this was him trying to be like seeding shit out into the fanboy universe. Scream at them forever so they'll hire me to make these 6 films.
I'm glad I'll get
that was
one.
definitely part of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'll get this one job 10 years from now.
The desert. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The desert scene maybe contains the dumbest thing in this movie that doesn't involve the Amazons.
Okay.
So they're going to a place and they're trying to hide from Superman, and then Superman finds them and they all get ready to face down against Superman. And Cyborg pulls off his cloak that he's wearing where he kind of looks like Dr. Smith from the 2000 Lost in Space movie when he got all spidery.
Yeah.
He pulls the cloak off and he's got a giant War Machine shoulder-mounted Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Cyborg, the character with multiple kinds of sonic and energy weapons built into his body. He wants to fight Superman, a guy whose powers include bulletproof. So he attaches a gun to his shoulder.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like a really strong gun.
Maybe in this universe he doesn't have sonic weapons. He has directorial bullets.
Could you imagine the bullets were like Kryptonian? They're made of kryptonite.
Oh, maybe.
That would be fucking insane. It's like, how are you still running then?
Right?
Batman would not give somebody else the kryptonite gun.
Have any of the Snyder movies had kryptonite?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a big thing in Batman, v Superman.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the two superpowers to fight Superman is yelling mom names and kryptonite.
The only part of that evil, like Superman has been revived and doesn't remember anything and is crazy segment I remember is how he like hovers dick first at people.
I mean, that's how he does it. I don't know what to tell you. That scene at his memorial also has the best shot of the movie, where he's like holding off Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and the Flash is like going around him, and he just looks and starts tracking him, and the
Yes.
Flash starts shitting
That
in his
is-
pants.
Yeah, you could
is
ask
so
Bob.
fucking cool.
You could ask Bob. That scene started, and I go, "Here comes the best shot in the entire movie."
It's one of the best shots in superhero cinema.
Because wouldn't it have been nearly as funny if we didn't get the reaction shot from the Flash going, "Oh no!"
like, oh fuck, he's also really fast and can see me.
I'm so fucked. Yeah, that fight's really good. That's the best use of slow-mo in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time the Flash starts doing his running thing, it looks terrible. Like,
Yes.
unbelievably so, as he walks in midair and they've green screen him out.
It's a real shame we have so many Quicksilver segments to compare that to. There is this moment at the memorial, right? You know, they're doing the fight, and finally Superman has caught up to Batman, who has just arrived, and he uses his eye lasers on his gauntlets. And as Batman is now downed, and he's trying to defend himself with his last gauntlet, Lois Lane runs into the frame, and the cops go, hold your fire. And I'm like, you weren't firing anything. You're all just watching him kill Batman. What are you talking about?
If Superman had floated towards them, they would have started shooting.
And Lois Lane, they don't know. Maybe she's Superman. We should maybe shoot her.
I am still disappointed that Henry Cavill did not show up with a mullet in this scene. That's kind of bullshit. If you're going to make him put on the black suit, I demand the mullet.
I thought it was weird that we go to the dystopian future and he's no longer wearing the black suit. I'm like, but you're doing like the tyrannical thing, right? I assume. Why are you wearing the normal colors again?
I think the premonition dimension is that Darkseid got his portal set up. It's not Superman is evil.
But they were going to fight him at the... Yeah, it's both.
Is it both?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were ready to
Darkseid
fight
always
him.
has a thing where he mind controls Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that
Oh,
is
is
the
that
thing
what-
sometimes.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
whenever
what-
Darkseid shows up,
'Cause
that's usually the first thing that happens.
I'm used to the Injustice one where it's just Superman goes super fascist because Lois Lane dies. And this has a bunch of stuff about Lois Lane dying.
Lois Lane is the key.
Yeah.
I'll always remember what Grant Morrison said about this. He's like, my parents died and I didn't become a psychopath. I think Superman could handle it. It's almost like that's a really fucking stupid plot device.
Yeah, no, it sucks so bad. It's like you build up this guy as the most perfect, like able to control himself dude. And then this one thing makes him lose his mind and end the world, basically.
Well, we'll see. All the people who write things like that really like that speech the Green Goblin gives in the first Spider-Man movie. That the only thing people like more than a hero is to see a hero fail.
It's like, what if Superman was always evil? Always a good time. A lot of fun doing that. What if Superman fell? You're not a smart writer. Go fuck yourself.
I really like the it's terrible, but I like it conceptually. The comic that's like, what if Superman was raised by Darkseid? And then at the end, Superman's like, wait, I shouldn't be evil, and beats Darkseid's ass.
Bob,
What's up?
who was your favorite actor in the film?
Probably Cyborg's dad, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's damn. Aggro, same question. You can't use the same answer.
Honestly,
Uh-huh.
I really, really love the completely weird vibe Jason Momoa brings to this Aquaman, especially in this movie with the rest of these characters, where he's still just Jason Momoa.
Yeah. He's just sitting in the back of a pickup truck drinking his fucking Baileys or something.
It's pretty great. Because like a lot of these other characters come out, you know, they're like, oh, this is Batman. He's really strong. Jason Momoa walks on screen. You're like, oh, look, the King of Atlantis.
Hey, Chris, what performance did you think was the best?
Jeremy Irons is Alfred.
It's true.
Oh my God, that is him.
It was the only good thing I ever said about Batman v Superman.
I'm going to have to say Ezra Miller, he really gave me the idea that he at any moment could use his incredible power to either do good or evil. You know, it takes a lot for an actor to convey that across in their character. You know, the subtle, I'm doing good for now energy.
For anyone who watched the original cut,
Uh-huh.
do you guys remember some weird thing where they used Zod's body to resurrect Superman, or am I making that up?
I do recall Zod's body being important, his Zoddy. But I don't remember why or how. It may have activated the computer in the Kryptonian ship.
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember exactly what was up with that, but I remember that there was a plot element about Zod's body. Also, I remember, like, it feels so bad watching this because now I have mixed visions of what the original film was. Like, I have legitimate problem remembering exactly how it went because they don't just free Superman and then he flies to his memorial, right? He's resurrected there in the original cut.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing where he just flies there.
It's so abrupt. I thought I would have remembered that because it's
Does
so.
he just fly there?
In this,
Yeah, I feel like there's like his body. They find out it's buried there instead of under Kent Clark's grave or something. Kent Clark. Chan.
I don't know.
and they put the ship is very much directly right next to the memorial in this version. Like we can see that.
Yeah, it's like
And they
a
establish
city
that.
block, maybe. Yeah, no, it's very bizarre in that way. I honestly don't know, and I'm never gonna go watch the original again just to be clear on what they changed.
I've already seen 6 hours of this movie. I don't need to see 8.
Bob, let's be realistic. You saw about 7 hours of this film. I do not believe the original cut was closer to 2 than it was 3.
Oh yeah, I also liked seeing more stuff with Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Like him at home base talking to Dude from Hexen.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Desaad. It's that's another thing. Like picking Steppenwolf is such an incredibly funny Zack Snyder move because Steppenwolf isn't even like number 2 under Darkseid. He's at least number 3. He might be number 4.
Yeah, and this, it's like, fuck you, man. You fucked up that one time. You owe us like 5,000 planets.
That now this is entirely my damage, but that reminded me of
Don't say
Battlefield Earth.
that. Oh, okay. All right.
What were you afraid of me bringing
I
up?
was like, it makes no sense to bring up about Arc Police.
But it reminded me of Battlefield Earth, of the part where John Travolta's character is like, can I come home now? They're like, we're going to keep you there for 50 more cycles with endless opportunities for renewal.
Oh my God.
Yup. Oh God, yeah, because they pick Steppenwolf and then you open the portal and there's like Darkseid and Desaad. I'm like, oh fuck, who is that? Is that Granny Goodness back there? There's a better movie through this portal.
Yeah.
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 I was also very surprised to see the granny. I was like, we're doing that? We're going to do any of this?
I'm like,
No.
oh my God. Wait, what's your deal?
I would bet money that Zack Snyder fucking loves Granny Goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Because her whole thing is that she's an old evil lady who is massively physically powerful, and there's nothing Zack Snyder likes more than someone who is massively physically powerful. Like
That's
you
true.
you could take like the god suiting up and say that scene's from gay pornography, and I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
that. Or there's that scene where they're like knocking down the temple,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like hammering the things out, and I'm like, Zack Snyder is just infatuated with people being strong.
Yes.
Those like the entire
Apparatus.
setup
Okay.
where you've got the 3 mother boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we've defeated Darkseid. We now have these 3 living machines that, if brought together, will end the fucking planet. So what we're gonna do is, everybody gets one. We're gonna put them in a decorative case. We're going to put them on a plinth in a building people can just walk into for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
At no point are we going to try and destroy one. Are we going to send one off-world, maybe?
No, absolutely not.
We're just gonna we're all gonna have the plinth room, some of them with like windows and shit, and just always have people standing around them for 3,000 years.
I'm like, oh, it's okay. This time they'll bury it better. Oh, he's just covering it in dirt just like they did 3,000 years ago. That's fucking awesome.
Amazons are like, seal the temple. I'm like, oh yeah, no, nothing that comes through that boom tube is gonna, oh man, be able to escape these rocks.
Yeah, through the giant opening in the ceiling either. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed some of the sequences. I didn't enjoy the fight inside of there, but I thought the chase was kind of funny. It looked hideous at times, but it was kind of cool at other times.
Like the longer it went, the better it got with more ridiculous shit. like lasso it. Yeah, that's cool. Wrap my rope around an arrow, fire the arrow, it drags the mother box.
I'm like, how heavy is that arrow? 1 second. I'm readjusting my understanding of how hard these arrows are hitting people. If you could fire one and drag a mother box with it.
I love Steppenwolf's weird little face. Like his head.
He certainly
is
looks
all
a lot
neck.
better in this movie than the original.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
I wasn't sold on the new look, GPU look,
Yeah.
until like halfway through the movie, and then I started getting what they were going for as the armor, where it like retracts and opens up for like projectiles to grab.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, it's kind of neat. He definitely still looks like he'd be on the cover to a Nvidia box.
Yeah. From
Yeah.
like 2006.
Yes.
It's just another one of those like it's modern mythology things where it's like, yeah, it's weird looking, and the old Steppenwolf is just a guy.
That's really funny.
Yeah, isn't he the one that's always like dressed like an SS officer?
That would make sense considering his name.
Oh, you guys are
would.
talking
I
about
don't-
the comic and not how he looked in the original cut of this movie, which
No,
was
I'm talking.
completely
I'm
different.
talking.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm talking about how he looks in the original cut of the movie.
Okay.
yeah.
How the fuck did he look in the original cut of the movie? One moment.
I'll post a comparison as soon as it loads.
Oh, shit.
Stop using the AVIF file. All of a sudden, websites. It's bad.
No. that's really-
Discord won't even take it.
I saved 10% on my bandwidth. That's enough for me to decide you have no rights. Really?
Yeah, it was a major change.
Uh-huh.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I remember it being super different.
Yeah, he's a lot cooler now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a little Destiny bad guy face.
He
action.
does. 100%.
I do love how similar his like living articulated armor is. Like it puts me in mind of, you remember in the 90s, especially in Marvel cosmic stuff, everybody would have like metal shirts and pants. You know, Colossus looked like that, where there would just be
Yeah.
lines. They'd paint it gray and put lines on it to tell you it was metal.
Thank you, Jim Lee.
That's a guy who redesigned Count Chocula.
And see, I would have been okay with like a more human looking Steppenwolf if they had gone with literally just his comics design, where he looks like a guy Kratos would fight. Like, you can't tell me this wouldn't be a boss fight in God of War 2.
Yeah, something's really good about just shoving giant horns on a fairly normal looking dude.
Yeah, 100% always. Well, guys, I think it's about time we wrap this up. Don't want the podcast to be as long as the movie.
Finally, a movie where that isn't even a remote risk.
Holy shit. We're going to do the usual thing, even though we did it at the opening. We're going to say a few sentences summarizing how we feel, and then give it a score out of 10. Let's start with Bob.
Yeah, this was surprisingly the best one of the DC Universe Zack Snyder things,
Uh-huh.
which means it was okay. I'm going to give it a 7.
Oh, wow. For the other end of the spectrum, I think we're going to go to Dr. Aggro next.
Like, in order to confirm this, I would have to rewatch the original cut.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I enjoyed it more because it was faster and dumber and a lot more fun. This movie barely qualifies as a movie because it's too fucking long. It just sprawls out and like, where the fuck am I? What day is it? But you know, a bunch of the shit in it is cool, and you're like, oh, look at that. That's cool that you put that on screen, and it's neat. So, I don't know, 6? That's how many hours it was, right?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Chris Wolfhard.
Yeah, I'm with Bob. Like, I honestly thought this would hold up watching it a second time and was kind of worried. I'm like, no, that has a lot of fun stuff. It doesn't need to be shorter, but they should have just been like, the Snyder Cut's a miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't.
I think they kind of did release it like that with the parts.
They do, but it all came out at once.
Oh.
And also it's still all one video file.
Speaking of which, those parts are so stupidly named.
Yes.
Don't count on it, Batman. Oh, wow, that applied to the first minute and 10 seconds after you popped up with that part name. And now the rest of it doesn't even have to do with Batman. Good job, part name.
So I'm also going to give it a 7.
This movie was fine. I feel like it's much better than the other DC Zack Snyder initiatives. However, I can never imagine watching this film again. The soundtrack was terrible. It is way too long, and the endings upset me just because it really is masturbatory, and it's a bunch of teases for things that will never happen. And it's honestly, I feel, not even that good to begin with, bereft of that context. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5. There's a chance if the epilogue wasn't that ceaseless, it would got a 6 or 7, but man, all I can think about is all this shit that doesn't matter.
Oh God, there wasn't a post-credits, was there?
No.
Okay.
I had to check, though.
I ejected the disc and went, I ain't going back.
That's totally fair. I think that's the number one emotion anyone has after the film finishes, where you're just like, no, that's it. You're done. You showed me a name of a person who worked on this. You're over, mate. Oh, I was supposed to type these numbers in, huh?
Oh shit.
Nah, fuck. I was getting comfortable. I'm slacking on the job one moment.
Am I supposed to hit stop yet?
No.
Damn.
I know.
This scene is going to go on for 5 more minutes.
God, these fucking podcasts with all these endings just fucking end already. Why don't you?
Please look forward to our review of the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings cuts. That's not a real content ID, and never bring it up again.
If you bring it up, we will block you. Bob, you were
7.
aggro.
6.
Chris.
7.
That makes the average score 6.25 by... The executive producers for this GigaBoots video are Esme, Ely Broyles, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, A Reminder for Symphony of War, Cooper Tank, Very Best Plot, Iconic Bane, and Rado. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these guys. If you want to become an executive producer or normal patron, head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.